Welcome everybody to another review. Today we're going to be reviewing CT Toys Ben Reilly, whatever you want to call it, Sensational Spider-Man. And yeah, the box came a little beat up, so wasn't very happy about that because I kind of like collecting my boxes, but it's alright. We're just gonna get them open up, go straight into a review, waste no time with this bad boy. I am a little late on him. I wasn't gonna get him, but what I'm doing now is I'm completing all of the Spider-Man that I don't care about too much with CT Toys. So I think 2099 might be my last Mafex Spider-Man. Others are just going to be straight CT Toys. Yeah. So let's get a closer look at the figure. Look at the package. This is everything he comes with. But let's get a closer look at that figure. Oops. Get a closer look at how this figure came out. But here we have a closer look at the Spider-Man figure. Looking pretty good. I did notice some like paint chipping or fading somewhere around the ab crunch, but for the most part he is looking pretty good. I do not have the original, so I cannot compare, but we do see some like darker shading around the thighs, at least from what I can see. Yeah, like on this thigh, a lot of like faded like areas of paint like that look faded. Nothing that I'm complaining about, but for the most part he looks really nice, looking pretty good on camera and in person. See the diaper and the legs being a different shade of blue, just a little bit lighter. Nothing that I'm gonna be too upset about. And then the legs and the feet. But let's get into the articulation, right? So he looks this far down, looks up this much, not too much range in the head, side to side, some pretty decent tilt on the head. I like that tilt there. Double jointed, bicep swivel, can hit above the T-pose. Ab crunch, not too bad, but not the greatest. Would be careful with that. That's probably where you're going to get the paint chipping. It does have the drop down legs, 90 degrees. Doesn't go higher than that. This is hard plastic here. I do really appreciate the Toby. After posing Toby, all of these Spider-Man are inferior with that diaper, but everything seems to be working properly with the legs going up. No loose knees so far. I've had a lot of loose knees on my previous CT toy, so it's good that I finally have a CT Toys that's actually functional for once. My CT Toys, Wolverine and Agent Venom, are probably the best out of those. We have a really good butterfly. But articulation wise, nothing's going to beat that Mafex Toby that I had. Arguably one of the best articulated Spider-Man that I have for Mafex. Probably top 2 articulation wise in my collection. But as you can see, this Ben Reilly is functioning very well. I've had no issues with him so far. Yeah, I'm very happy to report that mine is actually a good copy this time. All my previous figures I've had terrible issues with. Decent side to side. He is limited in the upper torso, like right here, so I'd be careful. You're probably going to end up paint chipping soon if you're posting him too much. This is a figure I'm going to be keeping on my display, not to pose, because I don't really care about this Spider-Man. But I'm probably going to buy a Marvel Rivals head sculpt. This is very similar to the Marvel Rivals skin design. But yeah, this is the articulation for this figure. I don't think I missed anything. And now we're going to move into the accessories. So we have 2 medium webs. As you can see, one of them is kind of bent here. That's probably because of the packaging. We have 2 of these holding webs, web pulling webs. And then we have 2 of these smaller ones. Everything's kind of a mess right now, so I'm just showing you from a singular one. Yeah, everything went all over the place, but we have the open, relaxed, like wall crawling hands, kind of. We have the web pulling hands. These punching hands, because he comes with relaxed hands, right? These flipping hands. He has magnetic crawling hands, but I wouldn't recommend these magnets. Maybe these are better designed, but the Miles Morales ones, they worked at first, but the magnets started falling out and you can see some crust around the magnet. So these are probably not safe to use, but you can use them at your own discretion. And he comes with the swappable feet. In terms of head sculpts, he comes with the browed eye kind of look. And he comes with what everyone's been kind of dying for, is this Insomniac PS4 looking Spider-Man head sculpt that I'm going to try on my 185 today on the video. So hopefully that fits. I've been dying to get a 185 head sculpt for him. And then we have this amazingly sculpted head sculpt that looks pretty good, if you ask me. This looks great, honestly. Looking pretty good right there. And the last accessory is the mask. So now let's get into some size comparisons now that we've reviewed the accessories and the articulation. For the sake of this segment of the review, I put Scarlet Spider back to back with the Sensational Spider-Man. As you can see, on the left Scarlet Spider, he's kind of hovering over Ben Reilly, and so is 185. I would say Ben Reilly's on the shorter side, slightly on the shorter side. I think he can still fit into the collection like I am going to have him in, but he definitely does not scale like the Scarlet Spider does. Let me move them all so you can see. Oh my gosh. This is the Mafex 185. This is the CT Toys Scarlet Spider. And this is the CT Toys Sensational Spider-Man. There you go. Those are your three Spider-Men. In terms of scaling, this one's the smallest. But I don't think it's a big deal. It's definitely not a game-breaking thing where I can't buy this figure. I just don't think it's entirely accurate. It looks kind of short. But now I'm going to be doing the head swap on my 185 and see if it works. I don't know how to feel about that. He kind of just has a giraffe neck because it doesn't fit properly on there. I think for the meantime, it'll do, right? So yeah, it does fit, but it's like a different shade of red. It's way brighter. And also I noticed a lot of like paint rubbing off on the neck. So I would just stick with the other one. It fits, but again, it doesn't really look that great. Kind of too bright for the body. Let's get into the final thoughts of this figure. So for the final thoughts of this figure, I'd say the biggest complaint would be the paint. I finally got one CT Toys figure that doesn't have QC issues, so I'm very happy about that. I will say though, the biggest downside of this figure is definitely the paint. And the condition of the box was pretty horrific, bad to the point that it kind of like was almost impossible to open. So yeah, compared to the CT Toy Scarlet Spider, yeah, the painting was rough on this one. The Scarlet Spider was nice, but the problem was the loose knee. If you're going in for this just to get Ben Reilly and you want to just pose him around, I think this is a good pickup. Again, it's hit or miss depending on the QC on your figure, but I think this is a pretty good figure for what you're paying for. Comes with that PS4 head sculpt. If you have the CT Toys 185, you'd be able to put it on that one, but unfortunately it doesn't fit on the real one, and that's what I was kind of hoping for. But again, this is going to be a great display piece if you're not trying to spend $80-$100 on the real one, and if you don't, just not really a big fan of the original character or this specific design. I think it's great. I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10. You know, it's a CT Toys. So however, this is the end of the review. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm trying to incorporate more size comparisons moving forward. And I know I'm late on this one, but if you haven't picked this guy up and you're still considering him, I hope you got what you were looking for in this video. I'll see you guys in the next review. I hope you guys have a great day. Peace out.